I didn't go home that night. I stayed in the station's control room, staring at the meters and flickering lights as though they could somehow protect me. The voice had gone silent, but I could feel its residue in the air, like smoke after a fire, invisible but suffocating. I thought about what it had said. Find the tapes before midnight. What tapes? I had been working at WLMR for almost 2 years, and if there were any lost tapes, I'd never heard about them. Still, the words wouldn't leave me alone. Every time I tried to dismiss them, a static hiss would rise in my ears, like the frequency itself was alive inside my head. By 3 a.m., curiosity had turned into obsession. I began searching through the station's storage room, a cramped, dust-covered space behind the old studio wall. It smelled like mildew and forgotten years. Boxes piled to the ceiling, unlabeled tapes stacked like tombstones. Most were old radio shows from the 70s. Music programs, talk shows, lost broadcasts from DJ's long dead end. Then I found it. A plain, unmarked reel-to-reel tape sitting in the far corner, half covered by a moth-eaten blanket. The tape casing was cold, unnaturally cold, like it had been sitting in ice. Written across the side in faded red marker were 3 digits. 98.7. My blood ran cold. That was the frequency, the one the voice had spoken through. I brought the reel into the control room and loaded it onto the player. The machine clicked and hummed to life, the tape spinning slowly, its ribbon trembling like it didn't want to play. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the play button. Every instinct screamed, "Don't do it," but I pressed play anyway. For the first few seconds, nothing, just the crackle of static. Then came a low hum, deep and rhythmic, like a heartbeat buried in the static. And then, faintly, beneath the distortion, I heard breathing, a soft, slow exhale right next to my ear. I jerked back, heart pounding, but the sound persisted, deliberate, human. And then the voice spoke. "You found it. You shouldn't have found it." The voice was clearer now than it had ever been through the radio, like it was sitting right beside me. Male, maybe mid-40s, with a tone of exhaustion and pain. "They took us," it continued. "The station, it isn't just a station, it's a doorway." A doorway. I leaned closer, gripping the mic stand for balance. The air around me grew heavier, the sound warped. I could hear whispers behind the main voice, multiple voices overlapping, murmuring my name again and again. They can't rest. They use the frequency to find you, to feed. The lights in the room began to flicker. One by one, the red and green bulbs above the console popped, releasing thin trails of smoke. The air smelled like ozone and burning dust. Then I heard another sound, faint but distinct footsteps in the hallway outside the control room. I froze. Nobody else was supposed to be here. The station owner, Harold, lived across town and only came in during the day. I was alone, always had been during these shifts. But the steps were slow, deliberate, getting closer. I turned down the volume, straining my ears. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. Silence. Then, a soft knock. 3 times. Knock, knock. My heart raced. "Hello," I called out, my voice cracking. No answer. Just the low hum of the tape still spinning behind me. Then, through the static, the voice whispered, "Don't open the door." Every muscle in my body went rigid. The doorknob began to turn. I lunged forward and hit stop on the rail. The sound cut instantly, and the air in the room shifted like the pressure in my ears suddenly released. The doorknob stopped turning. Silence again. For a long time, I didn't move. My hands trembled so badly I could barely light a cigarette. The ember glowed weakly, the only color in the cold blue light of the console. When the sun finally began to rise, I stepped outside for the first time in hours. The tower loomed behind the building, skeletal and rusted, its cables humming softly in the wind. For a brief moment, I thought I saw someone or something standing near the base of it, a figure still watching. When I blinked, it was gone. I told Harold about the strange frequency later that day. He just laughed, brushed it off like I'd had one too many cups of coffee. But when I mentioned the number 98.7, he went pale. The cigarette in his mouth slipped from his fingers. He said, almost whispering, that frequency was shut down 30 years ago. "Why?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just turned and walked away, muttering something about the accident. That night, I came back to the station. I had to know more. I had to play the tape again. But when I went to load it, it was gone. The reel, the player, even the label that had said 98.7, gone as if they'd never existed. Only the faint smell of ozone lingered. And just as I stood there, trying to make sense of it all, the radio came alive on its own. The frequency dial spun by itself, stopping exactly at 98.7. Then, clear as a whisper in my ear, the voice said, "You shouldn't have stopped listening."